Hi guys, and welcome to Katie's Insight, where I give my insight on all kinds of things, including news, finance, business, entertainment, current event topics, and right now we are super hyper-focused on stimulus news. I have breaking news, y'all, which, by the way, I saw the comments. So understand, my first two videos I try to pre-record in the morning, afternoon-ish. So some of this information, when it goes up, if it's a little bit old, that is why. But I've been looking at the comments I've been seeing, and I have alerts all different places when it comes to stimulus, and I saw what is happening. The media is reporting that President Trump is shutting down stimulus talks. Or is he? I want to really dive into this because I know this subject is concerning for a lot of people. And you have every right to be concerned, right? Who would I to tell you not to be or to act like you shouldn't be? And we don't really know what's going on yet. We don't fully know what's going on. However, and this is what I want to point out to you guys, I firmly believe there could be more going on than what we're aware of, because there's always more going on than what we are aware of when it comes to these shady characters in the government. And yes, I'm including Trump. In my opinion, he might not be as shady or as awful as some, but he still does shady, lying things just like they all do. So I want to break this down for you. Also, guys, I do have a couple quick updates. I was monetized today. Yay! Officially monetized. Like it was 2 hours. That doesn't happen. Most channels, it takes like weeks or months. 2 effing hours. What is happening? You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. So if you see ads in my video, this is a celebration. This is why, because I had some people asking in the comments. So didn't expect that to happen. So that is happening. Very, very exciting. The second thing is, y'all know my situation. If my sound is a little bit bad, because people are saying it's echoey. If you hear my sound is bad, can you let me know in the comments the timestamp? Because I'm not hearing it on my end. And as you guys know, my microphone is crapped out. And it's not even, it's like literally, guys, it's like 4 months old. It was so sad. And right now, at the moment, I don't have the extra funds. You might go, well, you're monetized. We don't get paid every day by YouTube. In fact, whatever I make for this month, I will get sometime late next month. So it doesn't quite work that way. So unfortunately, I'm working with what I'm working with, and my apologies. I'm going to try some different things. I will try to see if I can fix it. I'm not a big tech person, though, so just be patient with me. But I want to go ahead and I want to talk about this, and I want to go to detail because I know many people are concerned. They're upset, and they're saying, how can my videos be true that stimulus is on the way if talks have stopped? Y'all, just because talks have stopped doesn't mean stimulus has necessarily stopped. Now, doesn't necessarily mean we should fully believe everything President Trump says. Let's take a look. I want to pull up article of information, and we can go over line by line some of this and what exactly this means. Okay, so, and I also have his Twitter. We're going to analyze that as well. We're going to break all of this down. This is from Bloomberg.com. Trump halts stimulus talks, spurning Powell and roiling markets. By the way, y'all, with this announcement Trump did, which we'll get into in a minute, the markets they're starting to crash, like by 2%. Pretty interesting stuff. And interesting, I mean scary. And it says, President Donald Trump ended talks with Democratic leaders on a new stimulus package, hours after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell strongly called, in fact, his strongest call yet, for greater spending to avoid damage to the economic recovery. We're going to have a video about that tomorrow unless more crazy things happen. I have instructed my representatives to stop negotiating until after the election. When? Immediately after I win. We will pass a major stimulus bill that focuses on hardworking Americans and small business, Trump said Tuesday in a tweet. Stocks tumbled after Trump's posting called to an end to months of hard-fought negotiations between the administration and Congress. Democrats had most recently pushed a $2.2 trillion package that failed to garner Republican support in the House, while the White House had endorsed $1.6 trillion. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi continued to insist on $2 trillion or more in stimulus, according to a Republican familiar with the negotiations, while the GOP locked votes for such a large package. The legislation that the House passed last week, with only Democratic support, also had measures opposed by the Republicans, including government-funded health coverage for women's right to choose, put it that way, and stimulus checks for for people who may not be in the country with documentation. Got to make sure and keep YouTube happy. Pelosi repeatedly invoked the Fed's share in her calls for Republicans to move toward the Democrats' more comprehensive bill. Some recent economic data, along with the resurgence in the virus counts in some states, also suggested to many analysts that government assistance was becoming more pressing. Even if policy action ultimately proves to be greater than needed, they will not go to waste. Powell told a virtual conference hosted by the National Association for Business Economics on Tuesday morning. Too little support would lead to a weak recovery, creating unnecessary hardship for households and businesses. Pelosi said in a statement, clearly, the White House is in complete disarray. The speaker said, walking away from the virus talks demonstrates that President Trump is unwilling to crush the virus. She and her crush the virus, crush the virus. It's just a broken record at this point. He is unwilling to crush the virus. Good Sunday morning. Dang it, quiver Nancy, as is required by the HEROES Act. The Speaker and the Treasury Secretary, Steven Mnuchin, who sat down in person for negotiations last week for the first time since August, spoke at 3:30 p.m. Tuesday, and the Secretary confirmed that the talks had been halted, according to Drew Hamill, Pelosi's spokesman. Pelosi remarked to Democratic lawmakers on a call that Trump's thinking might be affected by steroids he's taken to treat his virus infection. Wow, we'll get into that in a minute. A day after returning to the White House from Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, Trump conferred by telephone with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Republican Leader Kevin McCarthy, along with Mnuchin, before his tweets put an end to the talks for now. Pelosi earlier told her Democratic colleagues that she and Mnuchin disagreed on assistance to state and local authorities, spending to address the virus, and getting aid to ordinary Americans remain, according to a House official. Trump has disparaged Democrats' push for almost $1 trillion in assistance to state and local authorities as a handout to poorly run, mainly Democratic, states. The Democrats cut that amount in half in their latest offer. But on Saturday, he said the country wants and needs another round of relief. Work together and get it done, he tweeted from Walter Reed. States aid. Even so, the Fed chief, in his remarks Tuesday, highlighted that analysis after the Great Recession a decade ago showed that tight budgets at a state and local level held back the economic recovery. Nancy Pelosi is asking for $2.4 trillion to bail out poorly run, high-crime, Democratic states, money that is no way related to the virus. Trump said in his tweets Tuesday, "We made a very generous offer of $1.6 trillion and, as usual, she is not negotiating in good faith." McConnell has been clear publicly that Senate Republicans weren't interested in a bill with a $2.2 trillion price tag, and also opposed a bailout for state and local governments. His caucus favored a bill offering $650 billion in aid last month that was blocked by Democrats as insufficient. The consequences of the withdrawal of federal fiscal support are tangible and immediate. I was going to say, what happens to the airlines? Here we go. American Airline Group and United Airline Holdings said they would start laying off 32,000 workers, blaming expiring government aid. Walt Disney Company is slashing 28,000 jobs, while Allstate Corporation, the fourth largest U.S. car insurer, is cutting 3,800, roughly 8% of its workforce. Dang. Americans' incomes fell by 2.7% in August as a supplemental insurance benefits from the first round of stimulus expired, threatening to sap consumer spending. The economy has been moving more or less sideways since midsummer. Mark Zandi, chief economist for Moody's Analytics, said in a recent note to clients, with prospects fading for more federal relief, odds that the recovery will come undone are rising. Wow, them's fighting words. Now, I want to get into what President Trump said. I'm pulling up his tweets directly. This is from DJT's Twitter, Donald J. Trump. Let's see what he says, because he wrote a few things. Here we go. He says Nancy Pelosi is asking for $2.4 trillion to bail out poorly run, high-crime Democratic states, money that is in no way related to the virus. We made a very generous offer of $1.6 trillion, and, as usual, she is not negotiating in good faith. I am rejecting their request and looking to the future of our country. I have instructed my representatives to stop negotiating until after the election, when, immediately after I win, he likes eating humble pie, doesn't he? We will pass a major stimulus bill that focuses on hardworking Americans and small business. I have asked Mitch McConnell not to delay, but to instead focus full-time on approving my outstanding nominee, oh, good Lord, to the United States Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett. Our economy is doing very well. The stock market is at record levels. Jobs and unemployment also coming back in record numbers. We are leading the world in economic recovery, and the best is yet to come, in big letters. I got a headache reading that. I'm not even being sarcastic. Where do I begin? Let's begin with Pelosi. First of all, Miss Pelosi. Now, whether or not the virus might make him a bit sick and give some neurological issues, I can't say. We're not his doctors, right? That's between him and his doctors, and, you know, at least unless it becomes a detriment. I don't think the steroids are going to do that. I've never had now, I would really need to look at this, but I'm pretty sure steroids aren't going to give you those kind of issues. Now, they will give you more energy, right? So maybe that could affect decision-making skills. But like I've told you guys, even when I've had to take steroids for my lung issues, the first day I get energy and then it just kind of evens out, you know, and then I just slowly taper off. So when she's like, I don't know if it's affected as neurological or he's having, what did she say? Like, she didn't say hallucinations, but the way she put it is just kind of like a slap in the face to his mental cognitive abilities. But to her credit, this looks nuts. Now, there could be a few things going on here, and this is where I want you guys let's not read in too much to the literal, because remember, Trump sometimes will use one thing for another, right? Remember when he was like, I'm not going to pass this stimulus bill if I don't get my payroll tax. Remember that? Well, look what happened. Look what happened. He did pass emergency stimulus, and then he just went ahead and went, nah, screw it, and he went ahead and passed it himself. So I'm going to tell you guys what I think. First of all, I do think Trump has made a lot of very questionable decisions since he left Walter Reed. That joyride to wave to everybody, really bad PR stunt. Really bad PR, Trump. I don't care who you are. The fact that you would do that, and it doesn't, and here's the thing. We can sit here and argue all day long. The signs of him in an enclosed car, he's not going to affect anybody but the Secret Service. It's still not a good look. Because you are supposed to be quarantining when you're in that situation, not joyriding and putting more risk for your Secret Service. On top of that, Trump I've said this before, you can love Trump, you can hate Trump. I am indifferent. He's a very smart man. He's a smart businessman. I can already hear the comments, but his dad gave him $1 million. Right, but to turn it into what he's turned it into, guys, you've got to be smart. I don't care who you are. It doesn't mean he doesn't do dumb things. We all do dumb things. I'm really smart in a few areas, and I'm real stupid in a whole lot, believe me. Get some math in front of me, I start drooling on myself. I'm a talker. So this is what I want to point out, because I know people are going to be concerned about this. So let me break down, first of all, I want to break down these tweets for you. And I have to agree with Trump when he's like, she's asking for $2.4 trillion because she wants to bail out her state. And I got to be honest, I kind of have to agree with them. Look at the mess California is in, and for some reason, they just keep reelecting her. Well, guys, Californians, hey, booze, hey, nothing's going to get better if you keep having the same people there putting the same BS policies that are literally burning your state to the ground. Literally. And by the way, I am all for environmental conservation, okay? I'm the first one to scream that, but we got to do something else, because it's this environmental, they've done these different things with environmental conservation where they think they're being conservationists, but what's happening is they're not tending the forests and the wildlife correctly, and it's creating massive, insane wildfires. And it's not to say they didn't have them before, but I mean on this scale, right? It's funny, it's like they believe in global warming, they believe in a cause and effect, but then they're not going to fix the cause and effect here. So I get what he's saying, that we can't bail out the poorly run states, hence they're just going to keep going badly and it's going to affect the rest of America. I get that, right? And he says, we made a very generous offer of 1.6 trillion. And he's like, she is not willing to negotiate in good faith. Well, we've even heard Nancy with this latest bill that just passed, the 2.2 trillion, which is just a slim, it's just a shorter HEROES Act. By shorter, I mean time frame. And she said, we're not going to give up on what we want. And I'm going to believe at this point, Nancy keeps saying, we got to believe the scientists, the data. Where is your science and data for this? Because I haven't seen any. The only one that I've seen that seems to make sense is Mnuchin at this point. And I have more faith in Mnuchin than I do in any of these other people, to be honest. So he says, I'm rejecting their request and looking into the future of our country. I've instructed my representatives to stop negotiating until after the election, when immediately after I win, we will pass a major stimulus bill that focuses on hardworking American and small businesses. So this is the hard thing. Trump, you can't promise that you're going to pass a bill when you're also slapping the other side in the face. Because right now, this election is the stimulus election. And this is where I'm kind of sad for him, because I'm like, dude, one of your biggest chips you can play right now to win this election is stimulus. And with you getting the virus, big L for you, unfortunately. I'm not saying you could help it. Crap happens. Stuff's thrown at us, right? Or maybe there's nefariosity going on. Who knows? Not saying, I'm just saying the timing is just real weird. And it's not like our government hasn't done weirder things to people. Look at what they've done to minorities over the past, doing medical things to them. Tuskegee Airmen, look at all kinds of stuff that they've done. Look at what they've done to Native Americans. So, you know, I don't put it past any of these shady people to do something weird. I don't have evidence for that. I'm just saying I got a hunch. It just, when things don't look right enough, I tend to go with that because you can't believe the leaders that we have. So, he says they're going to stop negotiations until after the election. The problem is, Trump and you doing this, not that Trump watches my videos, I'm going to address it like he does though, but no, he doesn't. No, he wouldn't. The problem when you do this is that to the American people, it looks like you're the reason we don't have stimulus. When we know the reason we don't have stimulus is because the Republicans are evil and don't care, and the Democrats parade around like they care, but they want to take the money that should go to us to spend for themselves. At least the Republicans just don't want to spend, period, where you guys want to take the money that's supposed to go to us and just throw it around the room, just make it rain and set your states literally on fire. Drives me nuts. So my problem to Trump with this is that this now takes the responsibility off the people in the government, and it makes you look like you're the reason we aren't getting stimulus when we know that's not true. So I want to counter this with something else though. Is it possible that this is a negotiation tactic? Because remember, we know Trump likes to do these negotiation tactics and big vibrato and throw things out there. Remember the last time he said, I'm not doing stimulus until I get the payroll tax cut. Remember that? And what did he do? Created it himself. What have we been hearing for the last several weeks from Trump? He has been saying, if Congress doesn't step up and do something, I will. There's a theory that I can help people with stimulus checks. And he already did executive orders. It's not like what I'm saying is out of the realm of reality or out of left field. This has already happened. And if he's already threatened, what's to stop it? Now, if he were smart, let me tell you what I think could possibly happen. First of all, it is possible, and I don't really want to speak this into existence because I don't want to entertain this for everybody because I've been through this and I know what this is like. Being sick, and if for some of my audience, I know a lot of y'all have chronic health issues, right? Being sick can really, really mess with you mentally and emotionally. People don't realize to be in pain nonstop or to be sick all the time, you know, and many people, you're just chronically sick, you never get a break. For like 5 or 6 years, I had a cold and flu and the worst stomach bug of your life every day of my life that never went away. Some days were a little better than others. And you have days where you mentally and emotionally just can't handle it. You need a break from what's going on in your body, but you can't take a vacation from your body. And some people who've never experienced chronic health stuff like this, they can get something that Trump has and it really shakes their core and it really freaks them out, right? And with some of the moves he's made, like he told people not to fear the virus, I think I understand what he was trying to say, but it's coming out all the wrong ways. And I'm wondering, maybe Pelosi has a point. Now, do I think the steroids are affecting his cognitive abilities? No, not necessarily. I'm not a doctor. I could be wrong. I'm just telling you from my experience, but my experience could be different than his experience, could be different from everybody else's experience. I know I've talked about having asthma before and that I had periods. I had years that didn't bother me and people would say, you didn't have asthma. I know so-and-so, or I have it and I've had it every day of my life and it's chronic, so it just doesn't disappear. Everybody's bodies are different. Everybody's illnesses, where they're at, their levels, what they react to is all different. You can never say some people's this, like, for instance, with the chronic health stuff I've gone through, there were, towards the end, it was way more severe than the beginning, right? So I'm just saying, I don't want to say or to speculate off of what Pelosi's, and I also just think she's talking out of her ass. If you really want my opinion, when she said, well, maybe it's the steroid. Girl, do you even know anything about steroids? Typically, that's not how most steroids are going to interact with you, typically. But I do wonder if this has shaken him a bit, because he's making moves that right now, less than a month before the election, aren't smart. And what I mean by that is, look, it may be a smart move for him to say no stimulus talks, let's get the Supreme Court justice and let's move on. I'm not saying there isn't intelligence there, but what I am saying is what's going to matter right now to the American people, as I said so many times, is the appearance of. And what's scaring me, and unfortunately right now, is Trump is giving the appearance of that we are going to get stimulus and that it's directly his fault. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm saying what's going to come down is the appearance of. And even though he took a bunch of wins right before the election, passing emergency stimulus as well as those executive orders, big wins for him. All he had to do was find a way to get us stimulus checks. It's done. The election is a done deal for him. But then we had the virus wrench thrown at him. And now he's making really weird decisions. In fact, if you saw my videos from earlier, if you didn't go check them out, it's been reported that Don Jr., his son, wants to have an intervention with him and the family and tell him, you got to rein in your nutty acting behavior right now. And I don't know. I wonder if it's because of the virus. If that has really shaken him, and being sick can affect your cognitive abilities. Now, let's flip this. What if this is a negotiation tactic? He's trying to scare them. And here's what I think. The biggest win he could receive, as I've said before, would be if before the election, sometime before the election, he somehow passed or got people stimulus checks. Now, it's so late in the game, I would be shocked. But at this point, it's 2020. Nobody's really surprised, right? We can be shocked, but it's like, oh, well, nothing's a surprise anymore. You guys keep hearing me. Every video, I'm calling for aliens to come down. Because what's next? Hopefully they're nice. Better be nice. I don't want to fight an alien. I'll have to if I need to. So I can shake my fist in the air and intimidate all kinds of people. I'll just hair flip them to death like I do in my videos. You know what? I'm going to throw a bunch of quivers and arrows at them. That'll get them. That's going to stop them. That's how I'm going to attack the UFOs. I'm just going to get my quiver out and go to town. I still can't believe the arrow holding thing that's called a quiver. It's so weird. I thought that was a really inappropriate reference. I was like, what is she talking about? I don't know, a 50 Shades of BS or something. I don't know. But here's what I know I'm going a little bit off subject. Am I ever really on a subject? I'm just rambling to y'all. I have fun. I hope y'all at least have fun. But I'm really wondering at this point, if Trump is doing this, A, to try to push them to actually negotiate, and B, is he going to do it himself? Is he going to step up and put these checks out? Now, I'm going to be hyper-analyzing the news coming up until the election. So if you want me to analyze more, stay tuned. Because remember, I did call the emergency stimulus that happened with the PPP loans as well. I called the executive orders and everybody thought I was crazy. Here's the problem. Because of the virus there, because he got the virus, it throws a really big wrench. It's kind of to me, it's kind of like the ace card, right? It's like or the joker card. I haven't played cards in a long time. What's the wild card? That's an ace. Or is that a 1? I'm just going to call it wild card. Please sound off in the comments. What am I talking about when you play solitaire or poker? It's not really solitaire, right? No, poker is jokes are wild, joker's wild, ace is wild, deuces. No, deuces is this, or poop. Anyway, so here's what I am thinking. I am wondering at this point if he is not going to pass something himself. But I can't definitively say that I see a path one way or another because the virus is making everything unstable and confusing in his actions, right? In the way he is acting. And it sucks that like him, driving around to wave to the crowd and whatever from behind windows, we have to like look out and go, that's bad. But this is how, again, it's not even about what my opinion is. My opinion is it's throw them all out, right? It's how the American people perceive this. So I'm going to keep an eye on everything and look and see what is happening. Remember also, I just had a video go up about this. We just had Representative Green who came out and said that Steny Hoyer, right? That he had told everybody in the Congress, he was like, be prepared to come back by the end of this week. We're trying to pass something. So I don't know, but this is the other part too that I want you guys to understand. Don't blame Trump completely. Yes, Trump is the one putting it out there and saying we're done until the election, but we have to keep in mind why he is saying that. It's because Pelosi won't negotiate anything other than timing. She has already said she's not going to do anything, so he's basically calling her out, which is why I think he may be using the media to call bluffs, and I think he may be using the media to try to sway negotiations, just like he did with those executive orders. That's kind of how I'm looking at this, but man, he's just taken some losses. Remember, even the debate feels like 3 years ago, doesn't it? The debate that he and Biden had last week, 3 years ago. I'm not kidding. I was going to do a reaction to it, and I'm like, oh, that's 3 years old now. I might do one for the vice presidents, though. If you want to see that, sound off in the comments and let me know. But yeah, just looking over this, remember, in the weeks leading up to him passing those executive orders, he had been teasing it. And the week before, the first thing he did was he had his economic advisor, Stephen Moore, put out that opinion piece from the Wall Street Journal saying, this is why I think Trump should pass the payroll tax. This could be another form of that. The problem is we don't know yet. And typically, though, with Trump, he typically does a PR buildup to when he's going to do something like that. This is just boom, kind of in your face. But then I guess some people could say, well, this has been building it for months, right? I just mean over what I've seen in the past from him, right? I'm just looking at history as an indicator. He'll put out things here and there, little things here and there. He'll start putting things out, and then it'll start to ramp up. But right now, this is kind of like, I got the virus, punch in your face, joyride. When it comes to this. So we're going to have to wait and see. Honestly, I don't know how this is going to go yet. I'm going to have to analyze everything. So if you want to hear and see my analyzations on what's happening, stay tuned and make sure on this channel to subscribe. Make sure and subscribe. And if you're subscribed, hit notifications. It absolutely helps me with this channel. Guys, I spent so much money giving gift cards to build up our notification system on the old channel. So please, please help me out because it's still going to be a while. I'm like, after I pay my assistant and she doesn't make nearly what she's worth, I am broke as a joke until I get my next payment, right? I don't have a ton to my name, but I'm going to try to start doing gift cards as soon as I know what's coming in and what I am able to do. So anything you can do to support, to subscribe, especially hit notifications if you're subscribed, and I'd be so appreciative. Also, guys, comment. I want to hear everything. Sound off. What do you think about all this? What do you think about the different assessments I've given you? Let me know. As well, guys, like the videos. Any video you see, like the video, and please make sure and watch the content from start and to finish because that helps get me to, that helps get my time up with YouTube. It helps me get, make more money. It helps me be able to do things so I can grow and give back to you guys. And please share this content with anybody you think it could help. People who are on unemployment, waiting for unemployment, waiting for stimulus checks, SBA loan and grant issues, bill issues, everything in between. I've got tons of tools and tons of resources in this channel to be able to help you guys, and I would love to have the opportunity to do just that. Okay, guys, so I think I'm going to end it here now. If you want to find me on Facebook, Katie's Insights, go to the page, and the group right now is Katie's Corner. It will be changed to Katie's Insights. So if you can't find Katie's Corner, look up Katie's Insights. Go in the group, and you can ask all the stimulus questions you want. We have lots of people in there. We're all helping each other through this very difficult time. All right, I'm exhausted from this day. This day, like seriously, this ending my day, I was going to just put up 2 videos today. I'd be like, yeah, just 2 videos. We're doing pretty well. I can kind of take it easy. Nope. Here comes Trump with his wrenches. But it's all right. I'll be here to analyze it for you and tell you what I think it means and where I think we're headed. Okay, guys, much love. Thank you so much. Every day I do this. Every time I end a video, I end it with a prayer to you guys because I'm just so humbled and so grateful that you guys have put me in the position, not just once, but now a second time, to grow a channel, to make a living, and to be able to give you what I hope is good advice on what is coming. I humbly thank you guys so much for changing my life, and I just want to be of service to you guys and do the best I can for you, and thank you for giving me that opportunity. I do not take it for granted. Okay, guys, much love, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye, guys.